My name is Damon, and my SuperCoach team is so shit that my girlfriend's team beat mine.
Done.
Go Ash!
Very good. It was a pretty good week, I think, for SuperCoach. By the way, welcome to the SuperCoach Paige show.
You know, for round 9.
Yeah, I'm Matt.
And I'm Paige.
And I'm Damon.
And yeah, like I said, it was a very good weekend, well, for me at least. I got at 23-18, so quite a good score. Everyone scored
Very
well
good.
except for Grant Virtual for me. So
Everyone scored well, apart from yourself, but we won't get into that.
What a
just yet.
segue.
Oh.
What a segue.
I scored 2,288, so I haven't yet to crack the 2-3 this year, but slowly building, but it's alright, my ranking's creeping up, so it's alright. Plenty of time to go.
I know you do.
Yeah, so on the pole opposite, my ranking is sliding down. I scored 2,086, and my girlfriend Ash scored 2,053, but
Good on you, Ash.
she did beat me though because she forgot to put Kocha back in the field, and if she did, then she would have beat me, so she did virtually beat me.
Which would make you the worst super coacher of the week. So welcome to my world. We're now tied on 2. We're going to start. I think we should just, I don't know, do something to make sure this guy at least loses.
It's not
He
gonna
needs to
happen.
get off the mark, that's the thing. So he
Kind
can
of
join
boring.
us.
It's just a 2-horse race at the moment.
Yeah.
You're letting the team down.
I'm sorry, but I'm just too good. Speaking of which, things that are too good, Richmond have been very good by giving us 2 concession memberships for the Dreamtime membership.
They have, and we thank the Richmond Footy Club for being so generous with those. But tell us more about it, mate.
Well, basically, as a result, we put it up the question yesterday for people to send in things that said, what is the best Indigenous moment that you can remember? And basically, we've had a lot of great responses. Over 200 was it?
Well,
Responses.
we had, within the first 10 minutes that went up, we had 200. And in the last 24 hours, we've had over 700 entries. So that is massive. It's obviously great to see so many people getting involved, to get involved with the competition. And of course, Indigenous round, which is a very important round for us. All of our clubs have got great Indigenous players, so be a big weekend, especially for your mob, given you're a Richmond supporter.
Yeah.
Dream time at the G.
I'll be there.
But you'll get a reserved seat as well for the game.
Yeah, with these memberships, you get a reserved seat for the Dreamtime game because it will be sold out, so you won't be able to just rock up on the night. As well, you can also get 2 home game general admission access, and it's very cheap. I mean, you can pay a monthly plan for concession memberships, and it's like $8 a month, which is ridiculous.
And it's
it works out to
27 cents a day.
27 cents a day, and
Pretty
for adult members, so if you're an older university student, or if you're in the workforce, it's 50 cents a day or something like that.
And if you're not a Tigers fan, you can know what it's like. You can experience the Tiger fan experience, and even microwave membership.
I know. We just want to know: are they going to be microwave and fireproof, or?
No,
Are you sure?
there won't be any need for that.
Have you? Because I've always sort of wanted to know what it felt like to microwave
that's
my
what I-
membership.
Yeah, I've seen people talking about it. I'm like, I just want to have that feeling,
No.
and just the satisfaction to see it melting.
Well, I think you might have wanted to do that after round 1 when we thumped you. So
Until next time.
yeah.
But we're going to announce those towards the later end of the show, so stay tuned because there is a winner and you will be
2
announced.
winners.
Two winners.
Yeah.
Is there 2?
Yeah.
Oh, there's 2.
Yeah, so we'll start off with the segments for this week. The crystal ball to start off. Basically, the buy rounds are approaching, so you've got to start planning for those. I didn't plan them at all at the start of the year. Last year it was more important with just how they structured it. You didn't get really any sort of benefit to deal with them, but this year only the top 18 scores for the week.
And you get 3 trades as well.
And you get 3 trades, so you can cover them a lot better.
It's a bit almost of a fool's gold in the next those 3 weeks coming up. But,
yeah, make sure you don't get sucked into trading in all 3, using all 3 trades. Sorry, because they can really go very quickly.
You still need to prepare for the injuries that come later in the season as well.
And we've got a lot of bad injuries, so many ACL injuries this year, and it's not good at all. But
we're up to about 16 now.
And
Terrible.
I'll be speaking about Geelong really quickly. They've got Port Adelaide, Gold Coast, GWS, then the bye, and then Brisbane. So a very easy run of games coming up. And if you don't have Jimmy Bartell, Joel Selwood, Steve Johnson, although he wasn't out on the weekend, Corey Enright, even Thurlow, who has had a very good 2 games, Supercoach-wise, close to 100% disposal efficiency.
He's been very, very solid. But another team to keep an eye on in the next couple of weeks, although they've had a pretty tough run to the start of the year, is the Pies. So Although they do play Sydney this week, and they had a pretty good win over Geelong on the weekend, they are about to kick off their season, I would probably say. They've got Sydney this week, so they fancy themselves against the reigning premiers. And they've got Brisbane, Melbourne, the Western Bulldogs, and then the bye. So it's a good, strong month worth of scoring, and there's a couple of players we'll mention soon that are going to be very low on price, or lower than usual.
Hopefully they don't rest any of them.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, but I think with the amount of injuries they've got at the moment, I don't think they can really afford to leave anyone out. They're struggling for numbers, but a couple of players to keep an eye on there would be Scott Pendlebury, Dane Swan, Heath Shaw, and Travis Cloak.
Very good players there, and Dale Thomas out for the majority of the season as well.
Yeah, thanks Collingwood. Cheers, appreciate that.
Should be up there on the
But and Hawthorn as well, another club. They also have had obviously GWS on the weekend, and Gold Coast, Melbourne, then the bye, Carlton and West Coast. So a couple of tougher games to finish off with post bye. But I mean, players like Franklin, Roughhead, Mitchell, and even Birchall as well, who's going to be we're going to touch on him later. A couple of players to keep a handy eye on.
And West Coast, they've got a couple of easy games coming up. They've got GWS and Richmond.
Well, actually, that's a point I want to bring up. I saw this thing, Fantasy Freako, he does a very good send out a PDF file.
Yep.
And Richmond are actually one of the hardest teams to score against this year. In the past years, they were actually quite easy to score against, but this year, very tough. And the opposite side of the coin, Fremantle, are very easy to score against this year. And, you know, in years past, that was, again, the opposite. So.
Do you reckon Rance has something to say about being easy to score against? sorry.
That's actually pretty good. That was quick off the mark. So Richmond are kind of like Sydney.
Sydney this year, it's really weird seeing that. And seeing Fremantle up there as easy to score against with, the likes of GWS and Melbourne, it's very odd seeing that.
Richmond have also got one of the highest percentages for a midfield group that actually kick goals too. So when you're talking about Deledio and Cochin, Brigg chips in with a few. Martin as well, who's really come to the fore this year. Some pretty good players.
You happy you got him in now? You were whining after that first week.
Yeah, she wasn't.
Look, I'm happy. You haven't heard anything out of me, have you?
Well,
no, I'm pretty happy. That's all right.
And you better move this along before there's a massive fight that breaks. West Coast have also got the Saints before the bye, and Hawks as well after the bye, which is a bit of a tough match-up there. So if you've got Nat Nui, he's one to look at, which we'll be looking at him in depth later. Selwood and Shuey and Waters, those are sort of the players to look out for over the coming month and a bit. Carlton, they've got an easy draw for the next couple of weeks. They've got Brisbane, GWS, and then the big matchup against Essendon before they face Hawthorn before the bye. So if you've got the likes of Murphy, Judd, Walker, Gibbs, they will, I think, bust out some pretty good scores this weekend. And
Walker's plateaued a little bit, but still scoring well enough.
Gibbs better bloody play this week, nice.
Mick Moldhouse.
Didn't he say that he was fit to play on the weekend against Port?
Yeah, he did.
Last weekend?
He actually said that.
Disappointing.
Don't know, but Mick Moldhouse and the Blues fraternity down there at Visy Park are keeping very tight-lipped on Gibbs at the moment, and it's almost to the point now where don't be surprised if he's not named this week, because they're very concerned. The Blues, my source tells me that the matchup against, who is it? It's against Essendon is the one they want all hands on deck for, especially after last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if a few players that have a few niggles are rested from the Blues side, so just keep that in mind.
Can't afford to do it against Brisbane though, as Essendon found out. They lost against the Blues. Don't get caught out. Up to the fire sale now.
Oh my god! We're having a fire
sale.
Oh god.
Second time around, and Lance Franklin, although he didn't obviously didn't reach his break even, which was fairly high, he did pump out a really good score, 107 against GWS, which was sort of expected. And I'm very happy with that. It didn't justify me getting him last week.
Well, I jumped on him, so I'm pretty, I was a bit in, I don't know, I was 50-50 on it, and I thought, bugger it, pulling the trigger, I did it. I'm happy with the 107, especially because obviously needs poor score on the weekend, and I actually made the call to get rid of Mays for Kennedy, and when I found out Mays was the sub and scored 25, didn't I just feel good about myself? I was very happy with that. You didn't listen. But that's buddy. You're getting a lot cheaper this week. He's gone down to 15,000, so he's 443. cheapest you'll ever see him, and a break even of 73 this weekend.
Against the Gold Coast.
But exactly. But another thing to remember though with Buddy, out of his 8 games this year, in half of them he scored over 100. So when we're talking about tons from premium players, only a 50% strike rate. So, but given his price, you have to.
Still, exactly. If you don't have him like myself, I did the sneaky and opted to get Mitchell +7 at 123, so I was pretty happy with that, and Pritis over Buddy.
Yeah.
And because I thought maybe you'll score all right.
Pritis did pretty well on the weekend.
Gauntlet, and it was worth
both
it.
of those were good trades.
Definitely get Buddy in.
Yeah, definitely this weekend. Hamish Hartlett as well, 77 against Carlton, so not great. His price went down again, break even of 156, and he's down to 437,000 now, averaging still above 90, so it's pretty reasonable. He'll be down to below 400k in no time flat.
Yeah, 2 weeks we're expecting him to be at least a little bit sub 400. So for a couple of upgrades with defence, if you're willing to take the gamble, I know I'm looking that way.
A lot of people are jumping off the Port Adelaide ship, and with good reason. A lot of the young kids are tiring out, and the enthusiasm's sort of gone out of them.
It's very quick-lived.
Yeah, and now's the time to really jump off it. But Hartlett, I think even with his erratic scoring, once he bottoms out in price, he'll be well worth getting on, because he is capable of those 130s.
Another similar player as well is Grant Birchall. I think have we all got him?
Yep.
We've all got him, yeah.
We're on the roller coaster ride that is Birchall. He only scored 30 on the weekend, but admittedly he was tagged out of the game by Palmer. So I think a lot of opposition sides have worked him out, which isn't good signs. But he's going to drop in price. He hasn't scored over 100 since round 4. So that's an interesting stat there. So it might be a little bit of a risk if you jump on him
He's
now.
had a pretty poor month, hasn't he?
You wouldn't get him
He's
now,
flat.
though. He's got a high break even, 158. So.
And in 2 weeks' time, and we posted this on the SuperCoach Paige Facebook today, that you will get him for roughly 380,000 in 2 weeks' time. So it's perfect timing, considering Hawthorn, have got the bye in round 11. So bring him in after the bye for round 12. Fine.
It's funny, isn't it? Because he started off the year in such a blaze of glory, pretty much, and was scoring really well. And I think, did you have him at the start? Yeah, we both did, and we both thought it was a find of one of the finds of the year, and he's just turned out to be pretty crap.
Yeah, pretty poor. But I mean, with all good premiums, they all have their down days, but you can never really ever say no to a premium in Grant Birchall.
I can't really think of any Gold Coast or Melbourne players though that do really do that forward tagging role effectively. I mean, Palmer does it very well.
He averages. The other thing is that we had a stat here that the only club he's ever averaged over 100 against is the Gold Coast Suns. So hopefully that's a good omen. But he does prefer playing them where he's got 100 and 107. So he's got 100. He has got an average of 107. So that's something to look into, especially for the owners that are getting a little bit frustrated.
Definitely. And speaking of the bye rounds, they are coming up. Round 11 buys to start off. Brisbane, Fremantle, Hawthorn, Port, Adelaide, Richmond and the Western Bulldogs. And
the round 12 buys, Geelong, Melbourne, North Melbourne, St Kilda, Sydney and West Coast.
And the round 13 buys with Adelaide, Carlton, Collingwood, Essendon, Gold Coast and GWS.
Now let's go through a couple of the finer points. We're going to skim over these, and over the next couple of weeks we'll be looking a little bit more in depth how to battle SuperCoach's hardest 3 weeks. So obviously one of the big things, and it's the same thing every year, if you've got round 13 rookies, they are gold. Do not get rid of them. You can hold these guys the entire way through, and as soon as the buys are done, get rid of them. It's fantastic. So you got obviously your Thurlow, Menzel if he keeps playing, Ben Kennedy, Sam Dwyer, Comma, Jago, Mira. So there's quite a bit of talent there in the rookie pile when it comes to round 13. These guys are going to be the ones that are going to really push you through. Yeah,
O'Meara's not showing any signs of slowing down, so maybe that might be the time to get him out in round 14. He'll certainly have given you a lot of service by then. And you should really be looking to bring in your... look at the round 12 rookies that you've got at the moment. And once round 11's been finished, bring in round 11 premiums for those round 12 rookies. So for example, you've got Hawthorn, Fremantle and Richmond as the higher up ones, so you can bring in your Delidio if you don't have him, or you can bring in Fife or Mundy or Franklin or Mitchell or someone like that.
Cochin, those guys. So there's lots to look forward to. But another thing as well, people, are they going to go, it's the silly season. It
Trade
really
crazy.
Yeah.
3 trades a week for a total of 9 in 3 weeks.
I would be down to
yeah.
very few trades.
Yeah, exactly. So especially if you're now under 20 trades, which is where there's actually quite a lot of people now.
I'm at 19, I think.
Yep, I'm actually, to be honest, I'm down to 19 too. So
I'll be down to 16.
Oof.
So
I'm joking. Okay, so there you go.
Yep.
So the people that have been asking us where we are at with our trades, 19, 19 and 16, if you take that into consideration, if you use 6 trades during the buys, that being you don't trade between now and then, you're down to 10.
Yeah.
So that's really, it's a big worrying sign, but especially when you're in the buy rounds, you need to do your research.
Yep.
Cannot stress that more enough. You need to have a look at your head-to-head matches for those of you going for league win. Suss out who your opposition has, and go from there. Some people are just going to trade to cover donuts. Don't.
Not going to work.
The league win really is what you need to be going for.
Yep.
Unless you're in the top 1,000,
Yep.
you sad to say you really don't have a shot.
Yeah, exactly.
So you really need to be looking at saving those trades for the final end of the year.
And especially because this year, I mean, last year we had to trade our way out of danger. That being that we had to get as many players on field playing as possible. But this year, with the new rule that only 18 players are counted, it means that everyone's going to have multiple donuts. So usually,
everyone's in the same boat.
Exactly.
So you can afford to not go crazy on the trades.
Yeah. So I mean, that being said, you do need to make sure that you name a very good captain, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Because if you don't have a good captain, it means and they don't score as high as the other people on your ground. Their score won't be counted, so you've got to keep that in consideration as well. That's the flip side of this whole thing.
And one other thing as well, round 13 you spoke of Paige before about the importance of having those rookies there to cover the zeros in round 11 and 12. But round 13 is going to be probably the hardest of all the buys because there's Dangerfield, Jacobs, Pendle, Swan, Watson, Goddard and Gaza, to name a few that are going to be out missing that round.
Well, if those players really show some poor form leading up to that, maybe that's the time where you could do a sideways trade and get them out if you needed the money to go to someone that's ready to leap up in price.
I think so too, but in saying that, last year I ran with a strategy that I looked at the 3 rounds and thought, okay, where am I going to do well and where am I going to do average in and where am I going to just totally bottom out. This year for me it's round 13 because my team is stacked with obviously players from these clubs. So for me it's almost like SuperCoach tanking. I'm going to win the first 2, that's my aim, and then I'm just going to tank on the 3rd week and let it go and I'll cop that loss.
That's when she's going to be the lowest of
all. I'll cop it because you know what? Saving your trades for gold. Yeah. This guy still hears. But look, there's lots to go into, but we will start going over that more in depth the next couple of weeks. But that brings us to our next segment. The comeback kids.
Yes.
They are back, whether they've been injured, suspended or whatnot. Now, we've got some pretty big names that have played their first game or have...
And one of those was big Nick Nat. Nick Nat Nui. He took the winning mark and kicked the winning goal as well and scored 142 against North Melbourne. And Paige, interesting thing, I was also wondering the same thing. What was he on? What score was he on before he actually kicked that winning goal?
There's a little bit of conjecture.
Yeah.
Some people, good sources, are saying that he was only in the early 80s before he took that massive grab and then obviously slotted the winning goal. So when you look at that and you're looking to trade him in, that's what you've got to keep in mind, is that his score is inflated because he took the match winning mark and he kicked the sealer. So that's something to take into consideration, especially when you compare that to Brent Staker.
And the one thing as well with Nick Nat is if you've got Cox in the ruck, you can move him down to the forward line and then get Nick Nat in. Yeah. So you can upgrade. I think you'd have to move someone like Rowe from your forward line into your rucks and then upgrade Rowe. Yeah. So that's always an option.
Maybe if you had Callum Sinclair, he was
another good option. Yeah. But that's a really good thing because Cox and Nick Nat and Nui were lock-ins for everyone at the start of the year. So someone to keep an eye on. But next one we've got is Brent Staker. So another player who started the year obviously out injured, has been out for 18 months, hasn't he?
Quite a while.
So been a while. It came back as a fairy tale finish for him. 73 points against Essendon, priced at 128 with a break even of 69, so he's going to make a bit of cash. But again, as we were saying with Nick Nat Nui, keep in mind that if you are bringing in Staker, he was on something like 40 or 50 odd before he kicked that goal, which isn't much. So usually when you kick a winning goal, it's around 40 odd points, but they weren't so lenient with him. So there is a little bit of conjecture. We'll look to sort of finalise that for you anyway this week.
Yeah. And I don't think Staker's worth getting this week because he only played the one game. You've got a really good player to bring in Thurlow this week with his disposal efficiency. So maybe Staker next week when you need the extra money. If you've still got McCaffrey or Mayes, you can bring him in for him.
That's it.
Two people I'm speaking about, and it kind of leads into my tweet of the week as well. Brent Harvey from North Melbourne and Luke Ball from Collingwood. Some, decent coming back from injury and coming back from quite a while out of the game. Brent Harvey's done very well for North Melbourne.
Fantastic.
Averaging 122, so
he's on the bubble this week too.
On the bubble, break even of 61, 5'11" price, which is quite ridiculous. He's very, very consistent. North Melbourne really aren't getting the wins on the board that they should, so they should be a lot higher up the ladder. And
they were fairly unlucky.
Yeah, and he's another one of those players with the mid-forward eligibility, so maybe if you were wanting to trade out an underperforming player like, say, Lacroix or Monfries, he's the one to bring in.
I think so too.
And Luke Ball as well, 64 against Geelong, price of 300,000, break even of 53, averaging 64. He's only played the one game, but I don't know much about. I don't know Luke Ball.
Well, he did average in the hundreds in 2010 and 2011.
A few years ago. That's the thing.
Well, he's been out for a year.
The question mark over him, of course, is his injury history. I think that's the only thing that can hold him back. He's a good player. He can average pretty high in SuperCoach, as he can in Dream Team as well. But one thing I was thinking about was maybe down trading someone like Jaeger O'Meara down to Ball and getting a bit of coin.
Nah. I won't do it. No, there's not enough money to justify it. Because actually that leads me right into my tweet of the week.
So here we are, tweet of the week for round 9.
Yeah, make sure you send in your tweets with the SCP Show hashtag. We'll do our best to answer them.
And of course, make sure you're following us 3 fine people
on Twitter. And they're very good. You'll get a $100 Mint Tours voucher.
Yeah, we've given plenty away so far. But remember, to get your voucher, you must send us an inbox on Twitter and give us your details.
SCP Show.
Yeah, very good. Mine is asking about Jaeger O'Meara. So he's saying he's still only young. It's time to cash in. Is it time to cash in and bring in Luke Ball? Pies have an easy run coming up. I don't think so, because Jaeger O'Meara, he's averaging 92.4. Luke Ball's played one game of 64. He is a first-year player and he is young, but he did have that year at the Gold Coast doing a pre-season, basically a full season in the
stats. No one's come near Jaeger O'Meara in stats in the past 20 years. The only person that's come close to him was Chris Judd in his rookie year.
Yeah.
So he's a rare breed, I think.
Yeah, and he's only had one score below Ball's average of 64, which was a 40. And the others are, I think there's 170 in there, but other than that, they're all above 90 or around that. So
he's a consistent scorer too.
Yeah, definitely. So no, don't do that.
Bit of a keeper.
Yeah, definitely a keeper.
Now, my one, I can't pronounce your name. I'm going to try. Help me here, what was it? Curtis Seven. All crazy spelling and stuff. Anyway, who should I bring in first? Watson or Nat Newey?
That's a really good question.
I have had Nat Newey. I have had Joe Watson now for the past couple of weeks, and I am wrapped. As a midfielder, he's such a consistent scorer, apart from that game against GWS. And obviously Essendon now sort of really starting to... We're going to see some of Essendon's medal in the next couple of weeks, and I think Job's going to be the one that's going to stand up. Nat Newey as a ruckman's going to go... He's always going to fluctuate. He had a fantastic year last year, but again, I do worry about his groins, and he might be managed, is the word. I think Joe Watson's safest houses, I would invest in him definitely first.
Definitely, yeah.
And my tweet is has been sent in by Harrison with username Stammer69. 69. Anyway, it's funny how I just always laugh when people use 69 in like their address or whatever. Anyway, on with the show.
That's why you came last this week.
Sidetracked here. He's going Thurlow. He's asking going Thurlow to Stevenson, but I think he means Stevenson to Thurlow. What to do with Daisy? Also looking at Swan in 2 weeks. I'm struggling for ideas on how to do it all. Well, he's kind of answered his own question. So if you downtrade Stevenson to Thurlow, you're going to profit 137, 900 I think approximately, yeah, should be about that. And Swan's priced at 593, 500, but he has a break even of 178. So he is going to drop about 30k in the next 2 weeks. So you can afford to get him over, say, next week or the week after, but keep in mind that he does have, after the Swans this weekend, the Lions, the D's and the Bulldogs as well. So he's going to bust out some pretty big scores there, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, sorry, didn't answer about Daisy Thomas as well. He's priced at 452. So I think at the moment you can't make a straight swap to Swan this week. So you'll have to wait until next week. So you'll be able to afford him then.
Get rid of
So
it.
just do the straight swap.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, carry him over, straight swap.
And this probably brings us now to our winner of our Richmond 3-game membership, the Dreamtime membership, thanks to the Richmond Footy Club. You can see them at www.richmondfc.com.au or just head on down to Punt Road Oval and say g'day.
And you'll see in the description of this video, as well as on Facebook, a link so you can go directly to the membership. If you are a Tiger and wanting to sign up, again, it is very cheap if you were wanting to. So.
And you are the reason that Richmond continue to have their home games at the MCG, unlike Carlton members who don't sign up and get their team at the MCG.
We are campaigning to have the MCG as our home ground.
50,000, so they are loyal supporters of the Richmond mob.
Yep.
So,
getting on to it.
winners?
2 winners. First, Daniel Mason. Congratulations. He wrote to us about Rioli and Jeddah at the MCG on Grand Final Day being his finest memory. It was a very good spectacle to see
Probably
there.
the best two Indigenous or young Indigenous players in the game currently taking each other on.
It's like Superman versus Batman.
The Flash.
The Flash, even better.
And second one is Shannon Brennan, talking about Michael Mitchell's 1990 mark and goal of the year, which were absolutely fantastic.
If you haven't had a chance to see that video, it did happen in 1990, so some of you may not be old enough to have known it or remembered it, but definitely get onto YouTube and YouTube that video because it's considered to be Richmond's goal of the century.
Yeah.
So that's how highly regarded. This is fantastic. It puts Phil Manasseh's run and carry and goal to probably a bit of shame actually.
A bit better than Mick Gwon's as well, I'd say. So congratulations, you'll be hearing from us, and we'll try and get those memberships out to you before the big game. And you can go see that, bring some friends along, and it should be a good spectacle.
And enjoy the game. Make sure you send us a photo and show us your seats, and we'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, moving into jump time now. Basically, a quick SuperCoach fact. Mine would be get rid of Monfreeze. I don't
just
like
get rid of Monfreeze.
Yeah, just get rid of it. Go to Lance Franklin or Brent Harvey. They've shown Harvey's shown great consistency so far. North Melbourne's playing better than where they're placed, like I said, and Franklin is not going to get any cheaper. So.
And my tip this week does revert to the captain's loophole if you are a player of that. Josh Kendi, if you've got him in your side, listen closely. Last time he played Collingwood, he had 168 at the MCG in 2012. If you look to the prelim against the Pies up at what is it? Was it ANZ Stadium? That's it. 132 against the Pies in the prelim. And then going back a year before that in 2011, he had 124 at the MCG. So if you have JPK, exercise that VC and put that on him. And if he stinks it up, well then you've always got Gary there on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And my SuperCoach tip for the week is centred around Daisy Thomas, which I touched on in the tweet before. You can afford to hold on to him. You know, he's not going to play as long as you've got cover for him, adequate cover. You can keep Daisy on your bench for at least a week or two because he's not going to drop in price.
It's a smart thing to do.
So, for example, like with the other tweet before, if you can't afford a straight swap to someone like Swan, who's going to drop in price over the next 2 weeks, you can hold on to him and get on in there.
This is why you've got 2 losses, because of decisions like that.
Makes sense.
And who are our captains this week, guys?
JPK.
JPK? I'm using JPK for the loophole. We'll discuss from there on.
I'm going my man, big boy Gazza. He scored in his past 3 against the Hawks, 189, 170 and 144.
Yeah. Really?
Yes.
Okay,
You want to change
so if JPK stinks it up, Gary Ablett's your man.
Yeah, so again, congratulations to our 2 winners of the Dreamtime memberships. Be sure to like SuperCoach Paige on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube to the SuperCoach Paige channel, and as well as on Twitter and all of us.
And come say g'day to us. We're always willing to have a chat on Twitter and get to know us a bit more outside of what you see us on the screen.
Yeah,
exactly right.
So that's another week wrapped up, and best of luck. Hope you do really well on the weekend.
Hope you do better than this guy.
Yeah, hope I do better than you do.
Go Pies.
You're not going to do as well as me. Go Pies.